What's up, friends? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for joining me here again for another movie reaction. Today I'm going to be checking out There Will Be Blood, and really I don't know anything about this movie other than that you guys have hyped it up. You've said it's really good, and that's at this point that's all I really need to know, because you guys have been recommending nothing but great movies for me to check out. So that makes me super excited for this one. Cannot wait to check it out. I do know, I think Daniel Day-Lewis stars in this, which I may have seen him in stuff before, but he's an actor that I'm not super familiar with, and so it'll be interesting to see how he acts in this. I don't know the story, I don't know really anything, so there's not much that I can comment on before I watch it. But if you'd like to watch along with me for the full movie, definitely check out my Patreon link in the description. That's where you can find the full-length reactions to this, as well as the other stuff that I watch on my channel. And you can also vote in polls to help decide what I watch or react to next. And if you are new to the channel, welcome. I do movie and TV show reactions several times a week. If that's something that you like watching, definitely consider subscribing, turning on that notification bell so you can know when I upload my next videos. But thank you all for joining me here again. Hope you enjoy the video, and let's start There Will Be Blood. Well, that music is certainly jarring. Oh, ouch. That was a pretty convincing fall. This is quite the stressful intro. I feel like this is a very different way of starting a movie, because we've really gotten no dialogue so far. It's just visuals. So it definitely takes a lot more inference from the audience to get a handle on what's going on, at least for me, from someone who doesn't know anything about the movie. Oh, they struck something. Whoa, that thing is way bigger than I assumed. Oh, it's oil. That's what it is. This is filmed very well so far. Oh gosh. Oh, right into that dude's head. Man, still not a single line of dialogue. There's been plenty of opportunities where dialogue would be normal, so this movie just gonna go the whole way without a single line? Surely it's gotta have some.
Now you have a great chance here. Bear in mind you can lose it all if you're not careful. I do my own drilling. I run a family business. This is my son and my partner, H.W. Plainview.
But if I interpreted that first scene right, that is not his son, right? That's the other guy's son. Hey!
Yes? Are you Daniel Plainview?
It's Paul Dano, the legend from Prisoners.
Sunday Ranch is what you're looking for. The oil is there, I'm telling you.
If I travel all the way up there and I find that you've been lying to me, I'm gonna find you and I'm gonna take more than my money back. Is that all right with you?
I feel like the music so far has been very contrasting to the mood of the scene. Like the shots earlier when he was first in the hole at the beginning, the music was very like tense, almost horror movie style. And in that scene, it was more kind of lively violin type music. And the lively music contrasted with the threat that he was saying to Paul.
If we set our tent away over there, we'd be out of your way over there. Do you have bread?
We have potatoes.
Potatoes would be nice, thank you.
I'm sorry, we don't have any bread.
No.
Corn just doesn't fill out in the hills here. It's mostly rock.
His dialogue there also strikes me as someone who's very self-interested when it comes to conversations. I feel like he was just engaging in pleasantries as a manner of not making the guy suspicious, but he didn't seem very interested in what the other guy had to say.
Yes, you're Eli Sunday.
Welcome.
I'd like to offer you $3,700 for this ranch. That's $3,700.
No.
What would you like, Eli?
$10,000.
Whoa, that's way more.
For what?
For my church.
No, I'll happily be a supporter of your church for as long as I can. How do you feel about this, Abel?
Yes, what Eli says.
Well, good. Let's draw up some contracts and let's give it a try. What about this?
AC mode, Blodgett, Redlick, car.
Is he gonna try and buy everybody's land?
Can everything around here be got?
Sure?
Oh man, this guy is all in. Things are picking up. I like this a lot. I also really like Daniel Day-Lewis's acting in this. His voice is very compelling. As I said, I'm not really familiar with much of his work, so this feels like my first introduction to him.
Ladies and gentlemen.
It's a lot of people.
Ladies and gentlemen. I've traveled across half our state to be here and to see about this land. I'm an oil man. I work side by side with my wonderful son, H.W. I think one or two of you might have met him already. This community of yours will not only survive, it will flourish.
Adds a little bit more context to the first time he had that conversation with the earlier people. Now I understand a little bit more the purpose of that conversation. Which I like that style of filmmaking where you don't fully know what it is until a little bit later and it clears things up. Maybe I should have realized what that conversation was before, but I didn't realize fully until just that second time. And I'm very interested to find out at the end of this, during the credits, who the cinematographer was for this, because it's great. All the shots draw me in. There's nothing that I feel is badly composed or anything like that.
I understand you've asked the people to gather round and watch the well begin tomorrow. I will bless the well. Before you begin, you should introduce me.
That's fine.
It's a simple blessing, Daniel, but an important one.
My thanks for your visit.
This could just be a normal thing and I'm reading too much into it, but the way that Eli's acting and the way the things are shot makes me think that he's got something up his sleeve.
Before we spud in Mary's well, I'd just like to say God bless these honest labors of ours. And of course, amen.
Dang, he took the blessing for himself. Eli is not going to be happy about that. Little bit of a hostile relationship developing there between Daniel and Eli. Oh! Fetch! Shoot, that would have just smashed his head completely.
Where's the body? They're fishing it out now. All right.
Oh, gosh, that's rough. Also kind of telling the way that Daniel reacted to that. He didn't really show any remorse or anything. Just seems like part of the business for him.
You have arthritis, don't you?
Yes, I do, Eli.
Yes, the devil is in your hands and I will suck it out.
And you will be cast up and thrown in the dirt and thrust back to perdition.
Paul Dano is great at unorthodox characters. This is a very tense performance right there. Definitely strikes me as something is a little bit off. Again, I could be completely wrong about him.
It is terrible to think
Yes,
of
it
that
could have.
well
These men
working
working
away
12-hour
up there
shifts and they need
unblessed.
their rest. Gold
I
in
wish
all
I
the
had
times.
more time with Joe Gunda. More could have been done.
Then the well can produce. Heard you were planning some renovations.
Yes, our congregation is growing strongly.
A very interesting dialogue between those two. I like it though. Both of them are doing a great job with their performances. Daniel is very against church stuff though, it would seem. And also was Paul Dano's talking about casting the devil out. Was that a subtle reference towards his feelings towards Daniel? I could see it as a possibility. Oh shoot, this is not going well. Did his hearing go? Dude, this music is like horror music. I don't know why, it just has me so tense when it comes in. Obviously it's a tense scene. There's just something about it.
Safe now, got you here. You're safe. Let's go.
He can't hear him. His hearing is gone. That's a scary sight right there. Is it burning straight through the night? Dang, that shot is insane. That one too.
There's a whole ocean of oil under our feet. No one can get at it except for me.
That guy's very sure of himself. And Eli's gotta feel it's because he didn't bless it that all these bad things are happening. So are they gonna have to start from scratch pretty much?
HW okay?
No, he isn't.
Where is he?
Bless you.
Interesting that that guy goes to attend him before Daniel goes back to him. Seems Daniel's much more concerned with the oil drill or the area they're drilling than his own son. Are they gonna let this happen in one take? Oh, that's incredible! Props to the filmmakers for that, man. That's awesome. For a movie that's just been about a guy trying to drill for oil with only really one explosive scene so far, pun intended, this is quite tense and enthralling to watch. Also, the very bleak color palette really works for this kind of a movie and this story. It's very beautiful and appealing in a very plain sort of way, if that makes sense.
When do we get our money, Daniel?
Whoa.
When are you coming over and make my son here again?
Dang, you guys were not lying when you said that Paul Dano is in movies where he gets beat up, referring to the comments on the Prisoners video. Ugh.
I'm gonna bury you underground, Eli.
I'm sure that was just as unpleasant for him to act as it was to watch.
I followed his word, Eli. I tried.
You didn't do anything but sit down. You're lazy and you're stupid.
Stupid man! It was your stupid son! It was Paul who told him to come here.
It's very interesting that right after Eli gets beat up and sit on by Daniel, he does almost the exact same thing to his father in that scene. Even similar hand placements on the face and stuff like that. Filmmaking makes me think they're almost like the same personalities, but just different circumstances.
I'm your brother. From another mother.
Mary Brands, is that your mother?
Yes, sir, that's right. Are you married?
What were you in jail for?
Never answers other people's questions. Whoa! What is going on with the sun? Can't even yell at him because he can't hear you. Jeez, I don't know how I would react if my own son tried to kill me and my brother. I don't know if that was his intention, but certainly could have resulted in some major damage.
Just have to go and have a word with the conductor. I'll be right back. You stay here. You understand?
Oh, dang, his son's going. Oh no, I just understood what the meaning of that was. His dad just straight up leaves him on the train. Man, I don't know why that took me so long to realize what was happening, because he says I'm gonna go speak to the conductor and obviously is not walking in the direction of the conductor. This man is cold.
Why don't I own this?
That's the Bandy tract. Can't you just build a pipeline around this tract?
Can I build around 50 miles of Tehachapi Mountains?
Oh,
Don't
dang.
be thick in front of me, Al.
That's a huge wrench in the plans.
Are you the son of William Bandy?
Grandson.
Is he here?
No, he's out.
I'm Daniel Plainview. I want to talk with him about his property. When will he be back?
A few days.
I'll be back in a week.
Man, his performance is very unsettling in this movie. His speech is very normal, but in a way that kind of gets under your skin. This music just continually cannot decide what it wants to be because it sounds jovial and tense at the same time, and I mean that in a good way. It adds to the unsettled feeling that I already have.
We can eat and get some women.
Take him to the Peachtree Dance. I say get liquored up and take him to the Peachtree Dance.
Yeah.
What was that interaction supposed to mean? Was that not the way he was supposed to respond to that?
I want you to tell me something. What's the name of the farm next to the Hill House?
This guy is not who he says he is.
What was the name of the farm?
I can't remember.
Who are you?
Oh, shoot!
I met a man in King City who said he was your brother.
And he wanted to make his way to you, Dan. He died of tuberculosis. And I just took his story. I'm your friend. I'm not trying to hurt you.
Whoa, man. That was freaking tense, dude. His story sounded believable to me, and it seemed like he was just wanting to meet him because he wanted someone that reminded him of his brother, apparently, but I don't know. Could very well have been like a spy or something of a rival oil business. Daniel was not about to take any chances. It's the first time he's really showed any emotion like that.
I'd like to lease your land.
Now, I know that you would like to build a pipeline through my property. God has told me what you must do. I'd like you to be part of our church. Be baptized. Be forgiven.
He knows he killed a man.
We have a sinner with us here who wishes for salvation. Say it louder. I am a sinner.
I am a sinner.
You have abandoned your child.
I've abandoned my child.
Say it louder. Say it louder.
I've abandoned my child! I've abandoned my child! I've abandoned my boy!
Shoot, man, what acting in that scene. That was impressive from Paul Dano, but specifically Daniel Day-Lewis. Dang, I felt that one. The question is, did he mean the things he said, or was he doing it just to further his own interests and cause?
Welcome home, son.
That's a big step, man, bringing him back. It would seem that he is changed then if he is welcoming his son back.
Yes, I'm going on a mission.
Where are you going?
Still doesn't look like he has a very favorable opinion of Eli. Maybe he sees an opportunity now that Eli's leaving. Mary's trying to learn. Hold up. Did we just jump forward like a freaking decade? Whoa! I was not expecting that to happen. I thought we were sticking in that time zone the rest of the time.
I'd prefer to speak to you in private.
You can't speak, so why don't you flap your hands about and have what's-his-name tell me where you've been.
Whoa, why is he being so mean to him?
I love you very much. I've learned to love what I do because of you. I'm going to Mexico for me to do my own drilling.
This makes you my competitor.
Holy cow. This man has absolutely no empathy, even for his own son.
You're not my son.
Please don't say that.
Well, it's the truth. You're not my son. You're an orphan.
So I did interpret that scene right. I was starting to doubt if I had interpreted that scene correctly before, but he did steal him.
Orphan from a basket in the middle of the desert. You're lower than a bastard.
I thank God I have none of you in me.
Why did he raise him for so long if he despises him so much? Was he really just using him as a tool, a means to evoke emotion in people so that they would be more willing to sell him their property? This guy's really descended into madness. Maybe he was just there all the time and it's just now outwardly manifesting though.
I'm offering you to drill on one of the great undeveloped fields of Little Boston.
But there is one condition for this work. I'd like you to tell me that you are and have been a false prophet, and that God is a superstition.
But that's a lie.
Oh dang, very interesting contrasting their two responses.
Say it like it's your sermon. Don't smile.
He's actually gonna do it?
I am a false prophet. God is a
Why don't you
superstition.
stand up?
Making him do the exact same thing. Is he really doing all this for money?
I am a false prophet. God is a superstition.
Those areas have been drilled.
He was lying to him. He just wanted to prove he'd do it for money. This madman.
There, this is the Bandy tract. Do you understand?
Do you understand, Eli? I drink your water every day. You can sit down again.
He made him essentially sacrifice his whole ideology for nothing, just to prove to him that he cared about money just as much as Daniel did.
That land has been had. Nothing you can do about it. It's gone. It's had.
If you would just take this lease, Daniel.
Drainage! If you have a milkshake, and I have a milkshake, my straw reaches across. I drink your milkshake.
This guy, man, he plays a crazy guy very well.
We're brothers.
This is not how I was expecting the ending of this to go. I mean, I assume this is the end. It's just devolved into madness. He just straight up killed him. Are you kidding? I don't even know what to say to that. Especially with the way that scene was going before that moment. I had no idea to expect that.
Mr. Daniel?
I'm finished.
Man said, I'm finished. What in the world? That's where it ends? That's one of the strangest endings I've ever seen to a movie. Oh, Paul Thomas Anderson's the director. I'm not very familiar with his movies, but I've heard his name a lot. There must be something more to this movie that I wasn't getting. Maybe there's some deeper interpretation. But the way that the characters are named, with Eli Sunday being a preacher, and is the symbolism supposed to be that greed and money overtook religion, and the ending was supposed to symbolize the country of the US was based on religion, and Daniel represented the economy and the economic boom and capitalism and how that beat religion to death. I'm just trying to grasp at any sort of interpretation to make sense of that last scene, because if there isn't any sort of metaphorical meaning or different sort of interpretation than literal, then that last scene is just insanity. But I mean, it was a very well made film, as far as technically especially. Very interesting, very captivating. Definitely sucks you in and makes you want to know what's going to happen next. I'm tempted to look up a little bit of information before I do my post analysis for this. Usually I just go straight into the analysis without looking anything up, even like what other people rank the movie as, like IMDb scores or anything like that, because I don't want anything to affect my initial thoughts and feelings. I want everything to just be organic for my post analysis. But maybe I won't, though. I don't know. Maybe I'll look it up afterwards and I'll just give you my initial thoughts first before, and then I'll look it up and see if my feelings match what the intention of the movie is. Maybe that's a better idea, so that way you get a little bit of both. You get a look into my thoughts without really knowing or understanding everything, then I'll look up something real quick, and then I'll give my thoughts again based off any new information that I learn. That feels like the best course of action. So this is going to be a little bit different than how I normally do my post analysis, because as I mentioned, I want to look up what the meaning of a lot of things in this movie is, and use that to help me form a more solid and complete opinion about the movie. But I first want to just give my initial thoughts on a lot of things, especially the things that I can comment on with surety. And so hopefully that will be interesting to see, depending on if there is more meaning to it, how my opinion of that will change. So this first part will be just me giving my initial thoughts on the movie itself right after finishing watching it. And first off, the acting, I think, was my favorite part of the movie, definitely. For the two mains of Daniel Day-Lewis and Paul Dano, both of them were amazing. Obviously, having recently watched Prisoners, mentioned how much I liked Paul Dano's acting in that, and I thought he was great again in this. Definitely very different role, because he's actually playing a normal functioning human being with, well, not necessarily 100% there if you interpret certain things in the movie that way, but definitely a very different role from that, and so it definitely showcases his acting range, which I appreciated getting to see. He does a great job. But Daniel Day-Lewis I thought was fascinating to watch. I don't think I've really seen him in anything. If I have, I don't remember him being in it, or I don't remember what it is, but he's a very enthralling and enticing actor to watch. I don't know if that's his real voice or if he was doing that voice for the film, but I really liked just listening to him speak. His voice was very unique for me, and I liked that part of his character, and just the overall look, from the clothes he wore to his hat to his mustache to where he never looked just fully like a clean person. He always looked a little bit dirty, and I thought that contributed to kind of the nature of his character, where he's not just this fully known person. We don't know all his character and all his motivations, and he definitely kind of has a dirty soul per se, and so I thought that was represented well in his look. And as far as the technical side of the film, another thing I can comment on for a surety, fantastic looking movie. The cinematography was amazing, and seeing in the credits the name of the cinematographer, I didn't recognize his name. I'm gonna have to look up what else he's done, because his work was amazing in this. Loved the color palette and the shot selection. Loved the use of long takes, especially in dialogue scenes. If you've watched most of my videos on the channel, you know how much I love those, and how it showcases not only the talent behind the camera, but the talent in front of the camera, and the actor's ability to memorize and deliver lines over a longer period of time. Love when directors choose that to do, and so I really appreciated that aspect of the cinematography. And the colors really contributed to the feel of the movie, just kind of early America, very bleak, it was a one-dimensional color palette, but obviously there's more than one dimension to the story. But I thought the way that it was shot definitely helped add to the mood of the movie. And as far as story-wise, I feel like my initial thoughts, and this is again getting into the area where I'm not 100% sure if these are accurate interpretations, but I'm just going to say what they are. I could be wrong. I'll obviously talk about it more after I look things up, but I feel like there's a lot of metaphors with just greed and money versus religion, obviously, with the main two characters. One is very money greed driven, and the other is very religion driven until the last scene. But on more of just a character versus character level, I think it's just talking about a lot of the dangers that can come with obsession, especially with obsession over work. We see how Daniel's character, I don't know if he was just putting on a front the entire time with his son, but it definitely changes over time, his relationship with not only his son but other people, as his obsession with drilling and gaining more money increases. And so that was interesting to watch. Definitely some interesting lessons to gain from that. And I don't know if there's any other like more far-reaching metaphors than more individualized metaphors with the state of the country or anything like that, where the kind of economic boom or just overall greed and focus on money and business. And I don't know if the message they're trying to portray is capitalism or the economy of America killed the spirit of religion. I'm not sure. I'm maybe reaching way bad with that, but those are just kind of my initial thoughts on it. And if so, that's very interesting, makes the rest of the movie very enticing in trying to glean kind of more meaning from each scene, and treating the character of Daniel more as the representation of the economic growth and money, and Eli representing religion and belief in God and Christianity and all those things. And so that would definitely be an interesting aspect of the movie if that is the case. If not, then I just gained something from nothing, but it's still something interesting to think about. But it was very interesting to watch in the last scene how Eli kind of became consumed with the idea of becoming rich and gaining money and things, and how that pushed him to the point of verbally forfeiting his beliefs at the request of Daniel, even though Daniel had no intention of fulfilling his request. And it just basically breaks down his entire character because he's given up the one aspect that he held dear and that he'd been so consistent with. He gave it all up in the brief moment for the promise of riches. And so I thought that was a very powerful moment, and whether or not there's more metaphorical meaning from that scene or not, it's still a very powerful moment for face value. And so I really liked that. Definitely a very abrupt ending. I was not expecting it to just end like that. And I think it's kind of funny that he ends on the line, "I'm finished," and then the movie finishes. Kind of clever directorial choice. And so I liked that part of the ending. The rest of it just seemed a little crazy and different than what I was expecting. As far as the title of the movie, There Will Be Blood, definitely not the movie that I was expecting to get with that title. I was thinking it would be more of a dark, villainous type movie because, as I said at the beginning, I knew nothing about this. So I thought it might be kind of more actiony or more grim or violent, but definitely not many of those aspects, at least that I picked up on my initial viewing and reaction. And so definitely unexpected in that sense. As far as the music, I liked the music when it was included during the movie. I know I had several comments while watching about the music. I don't know how many I included in the YouTube edit, but definitely was good. I thought it captured a spirit of uneasiness and indecisiveness very well. I feel like it wasn't one specific tone. It wasn't all jovial. It wasn't all tense or uneasy. Sometimes it would pick one or the other. For me, as I was watching it, I either felt one or the other of those feelings, or sometimes felt a mix of both coming from the music. I don't know if that's just my way of looking at it or if that was an intentional choice, but those are definitely the ways that I felt the music contributed to the story. And so this definitely makes me want to check out more of Paul Thomas Anderson's films, because I've heard his name so much, and this is one of the, if not the first movie that I've watched by him, and I really think his style is really good. It's very captivating, and so it intrigues me, makes me want to watch more of his stuff. I'm sure I'll watch more for the channel, but definitely if you know of some of his other films that are really good, definitely suggest them to me. Let me know in the comments below. And I think at this point, I've said most of the things that I want to say about the movie currently, things that I know that I could say, and I'm going to go ahead and look up real quick some definitions or some analysis things about the movie, see if I had anything right, see if I was wrong about everything. But I'll be back, and for you it'll just be a quick cut. For me it'll just be a few minutes, so we'll see what I find out. Alright, so I've just come back after reading up a lot more on the film and people's interpretations of it and potential meanings, and I was actually fairly surprised to see a decent amount of people that I saw seem to have a lot of similar interpretations to how I felt about the film after watching it initially. And so I thought that was interesting, because I thought perhaps that I was reaching a little bit with some of my meanings that I gathered from the movie, but that was reassuring that I wasn't completely lost or didn't completely miss the point of the movie. And as I was looking through all of those and reading them and just thinking a lot more about the film, since it's been a bit of time since I've finished talking about it initially, I do really like it a lot more even than I initially thought, and I'm starting to appreciate a lot more of the aspects of the film than I initially did, and I can really see how carefully crafted this movie was and how amazing the script and the acting and all the shot selection and planning done throughout the whole film was in order to fit the themes and the messages and things like that. And so that's nice to be able to get a lot more appreciation for it than I initially even had. But one post that I found in particular that I really liked, and that was very detailed and went into a lot more stuff than just the usual posts that I found. I'll just link it in my description because it's way too long for me to try and memorize and repeat, but I thought it was great at detailing a lot of the great aspects of the film, a lot of things that I hadn't considered and things that I hadn't fully appreciated before. And so I'm sure a lot of you watching this have already seen the movie and maybe already know these things, but for anyone interested, I'll put a link to it in the description if you want to watch a really cool, at least I think, really cool detailed description of what makes the film great. And so for those of you who did recommend this movie to me and voted for it in the Patreon poll, thank you. Really enjoyed watching it. It's a great movie, and you guys are batting 100 for great movies suggested to me, so I look forward to continuing to watch all the stuff that you suggest for me. And if you'd like to watch along again for the full movie with me, definitely check out the Patreon link in the description. That's where you can find my full reaction to that as well as the other stuff on the channel. If you are new, I really appreciate you staying until the end of the video. That means a lot. Definitely consider subscribing for more videos like this. I upload several times a week, different TV show and movie reactions, so I appreciate your support. I appreciate the support of everyone who has already subscribed and who's been supporting me for a while. It means the world. And obviously this is a movie that really benefits from some analysis and discussion, as I've already spent a half hour pretty much researching more about it, so I cannot wait for your comments about it. Really hope you guys have some great thoughts about it, maybe things that I've missed either in my own thoughts or even researching afterwards. Would love to hear your thoughts on the film, things that you liked, maybe things that have more meaning to you. Definitely excited to read those and interact with you, but I'm excited to continue watching great movies with you guys, and until the next video, I will see you all later. Peace.